Welcome to Newbie Sports, and I'm recording this in the halftime of Oregon and JMU because barring the greatest collapse in CFP history, I think that game's fairly decided. So, round one, over. Let's do a little autopsy. I thought that the performance of Alabama and Oklahoma's game would be what we would have seen in Miami, Texas A&M. Likewise, I can English. The performance of Miami, Texas A&M is what I would have expected in Alabama and Oklahoma. So, congrats on Alabama in overcoming someone said was the largest point deficit in college football playoff history. I don't think that's true, but I don't really want to look it up right now. So, you overcame 17 points, and you scored, 34-7 in the last 3 quarters of the game. So, good job. Very good job, Alabama. With staying in this game and overcoming adversity, and it was turnovers and special teams that swung it. That's usually how it goes. But yeah, Alabama's on to the next round. Texas A&M. Oof. That's all I gotta say. I don't think there could have been a better demonstration of how overrated Miami is and how overrated the SEC in general is than this game. What a boring game. Boring and lame game. 0 points in the first half of a game. First time ever in the playoff era. That should tell you how bad that game was. And the final score being 10-3. My goodness. What was there? 5 red zone trips total between the teams? And there was 3 turnovers, I think. There could have been more. I don't have the stats in front of me, but what a lame game. And Miami is overrated. They're going to get destroyed in the second round. Texas A&M would have also. But I think that this demonstrated Miami was appropriately ranked when they were ranked 18th in the CFP rankings. And Texas A&M have kind of been a joke in the SEC this year, and right up until they almost went to the SEC championship game and then didn't because of Texas. But yeah, I think that this demonstrates that the SEC is fairly overrated, and that Texas A&M's record did not reflect their talent. So there's that. Moving on to the games against the group of 5, Ole Miss and Tulane. That just a repeat of earlier this year. It completely unwatchable from a Tulane perspective. And you couldn't capitalize on Lane Kiffin not being there. I don't know if the players even cared, honestly. But, yeah, Ole Miss on to the next round. And then Oregon and JMU. I understand that this is not a DEI situation. We got to get beyond that. We got to move on beyond that narrative. This is a DEI situation. Both Tulane and JMU earned their spots to be here. But it's becoming pretty clear that there's some talent disparity between the 4 main conferences in the Power 4 and the Group of 5. It continues to be clear. So both things can be true at once. 1, yes, you did earn your spot here. 2, you did not play well in these games. Oh my gosh, you did not play well in these games. Goodness gracious. But yeah, final autopsy. Oklahoma loses, Alabama wins. Texas A&M loses, and Ole Miss wins. So the SEC is 2-2 in the playoffs right now. I projected them to be 3-1 at this point, but 2-2. I'm actually somewhat pleased about that. And then the Big Ten, Oregon's the only Big Ten team that's played so far. Looks like they're going to win. Once again, barring the greatest collapse in college football playoff history. Big Ten's 1-0. And then the ACC is 1-0 so far. Which is one more game that I projected them to win. So, there we are. And then the Big 12 hasn't played any games. And, yeah. And then the Group of 5 conferences are 0-2. Not much more to be said, really, other than just I got to celebrate that I forget the player's name, but from Miami, and turning the ball over against Texas A&M, and then the next time he can scores the what ended up being the game-winning touchdown. Just, you make mistakes, take them, move on to the next play, move on to the next series, and capitalize however you can. And this young man absolutely did. I really wish I remembered your name. But I think there was some good football played today by Oregon and by Ole Miss. And there was some great football played really by both teams yesterday. But Oklahoma has the offense bug. I just can't do it. Can't conclude. Can't finish. But yeah. Semifinals. Not the semifinals. Round 2 is set. Alabama's going on. Miami's going on. Oregon's going on. And Ole Miss is going on. And we'll see what happens with those matchups. I don't think Miami has a chance against Ohio State. I think that game is going to be really, really high scoring for Ohio State. But yeah, this has been Newbie Sports.